All right. Let me get my, oops. Hello, YouTube. There we go. Silencing my phone. Anyway, hello, YouTube. How are we doing tonight, guys? And I'm going to start TikTok because I'm already ready to start TikTok. There we go. Actually, I can button this, look a little nicer. There we go. A little cleaner, buttoned up. Actually, I like my shirt higher. There we go. A little bit better that way. Yeah. I like the black just showing through a little bit. All right. TikTok's there too. Hello, TikTok. Hello, TikTok. I think all our TikTok problems have been resolved, fortunately, or hopefully. Hello, everybody. I just had some figs. So my teeth are all like fig right now. Like, blah, blah, blah. It's okay. Which reminds me, actually, I've got that recipe for figgy pudding I should make. There's a really nice New York Times mug. I'm out of dates. Shit. I think I am out of dates. Add dates to my Harris Teeter list. There we go. Adding to my shopping list. There we go. Adding to my shopping list on my phone. I think I'm out of dates. It's a really good mug cake recipe that New York Times has. I tend to find mug cakes to be gross. I love chocolate cake and brownies. And mug cakes, the little cakes you make in a mug, coffee mug, and you put them in the microwave, they're never any good. And the New York Times actually has one for figgy pudding that's to die for. Actually, it's really not very chocolatey, but it tastes like chocolate. Made with figs. Oh, not made figs, made with dates, but reminds you of figs. Oh, delicious stuff. Anyway, welcome. Gunther. You haven't been lewd in a while, Gunther. You're really losing your touch there. Anyway, welcome everybody. How's everybody doing today? Happy Tuesday, January 27th. God, January 27th already. The funny part is winter is going to be over soon, which is the craziest thing. Like in DC, winter can be over here. I mean, officially like March 1st, March 15th. Last year, winter kind of ended at the end of January. We had like the most mild February ever. And I kept thinking my plants were going to die because all the plants started growing and I was waiting for the freeze to come and kill them. It was great. So even if we have a bad winter, we've got another 6 weeks of winter and that's it in this town, which is nice. I hate DC, but we're far enough south that it actually is nice in that regard. So anyway, welcome folks. I'm John Aravosis. As you know, the regulars, we're here to talk about the latest news. I'm going to sneeze. There we go. That came out of nowhere. We're here to talk about the latest news. We're going to talk a lot about ICE and Donald Trump tonight because that has been the big news. There's some Ukraine news as well. Crazy stuff. Very bad, of course. Things are a little better today because Trump is basically in trouble on the immigration stuff, which is kind of wild. We're going to talk about many different stories on that. I'll give you a quick little update quick little update from last night. During the show last night, I don't remember if it happened during the show. Did it happen during the show or after the show that we kind of had everything blow up with Trump? And I think it might have been during the show. Basically, Trump is caving on immigration, kind of. The situation and the issue. The situation blew up in Trump's face yesterday, big time, which is good. Which is very good. By the way, don't forget to give gifts if you can. I always forget to mention that to you guys. Appreciate your gifts very much, supporting me. Waving the hand. Waving the hand. What is? It's got mitts. Sorry, that was a very cute gift. I got a goofy gift from who was it? Terry? Was that the Go Hamster? I guess so. But it like puts little like a mitt on my hand when I wave. It told me to wave my hand. I was like, okay. Steve, you need to chill out. You haven't been watching the show much if you're worried, like at this moment in the show, that I'm not getting to the point. You don't know who you're watching. You and Colonel Mustard should maybe consider getting together. Actually, Mustard gave up on berating me a year and a half ago. Yeah, Steve must be a little new here. Thank you. Who are the gifts there? Thank you, Blue John. So yeah, keep the gifts coming, guys. Appreciate that. Super chats, super fans are always very welcome too. So yesterday, the news breaks yesterday. Trump's in trouble on immigration. It's very interesting. Thank you, Rex, for the gift. Sorry, guys. Since I sneezed, of course, my nose is going to run throughout the whole show because I sneezed. Trump's in trouble on immigration. It's very interesting. Immigration is a signature issue for Republicans. They always do well on it. Basically because the public, the public in general is, well, I would say Democrats are often a little more liberal than the public on immigration. Republicans tend to be like, get them out. And the public doesn't necessarily disagree with that. But Trump and, Trump's people started killing people, and that did not go over well. Murder or death 2 weeks ago. And clearly, this was clearly a public assassination, what happened this weekend to Alex Pretti. We're going to talk about that. There's a new New York Times analysis that I was kind of surprised. I think people mentioned, I should watch it. And I was a little surprised because I thought we've all seen the videos by now. What more could there be? They did an amazing frame by frame analysis and taking multiple videos at different, like a frame point and saying, okay, here's the one video, here's the other video, here's the other video. Look where the hand is. Look where, showing each agent. Amazing analysis. I'm going to go through that in a second. Basically, Trump's polls were already in trouble on immigration, which is shocking because Republicans always do well on immigration, much better than Democrats. Trump was already in trouble. The murder a couple of weeks ago of Renee Good was a big part of the problem. Arresting small children and using them as hostages was also a big problem. This little boy, the judge just weighed in today and put a freeze to the deportation of the little boy in the blue little hat that the ICE people, we should call Homeland Security, because the whole agency is Homeland Security. I almost feel like we should start talking about Homeland Security, because there's a lot more people in Homeland Security and they're working for a horrific organization, and we should make it clear that each and every one of them is responsible. But yes, the little boy, Liam Ramos, wearing like a little blue bunny hat, and the ICE agents grabbed him and basically took him hostage. They kidnapped him. And again, grown men with guns took a 5-year-old boy and took him and marched him up to his father's house and said, knock on the door and call your father. And they used him to get his father out of the house to arrest the father. They arrested the father and the little boy. Amazing. The judge weighed in and froze that today. That was good. So anyway, this weekend then there's the really public execution of Alex Pretti. We're going to talk about that in a second. As I said, new video evidence of that. And all hell breaks loose. Very interesting. I'm always intrigued by what, I was going to say what works. That's not the word I'm looking for. There are a lot of horrific, for example, Donald Trump. There are a lot of horrific things that he does. Why some things touch the public chord and go viral and create a scandal, and many things don't. And this has always been an issue, and it's very difficult in politics. I've been a journalist. I've worked in politics. It's very difficult to know why some stories resonate, a lot of stories don't. And you know what I'm talking about, where things where you're outraged about something and the story just doesn't become a big story, right? It just doesn't. That's just what happens. This, Renee Good was a big story. This Alex Pretti story, way bigger. Now, to some degree, the Pretti story versus Renee Good. Renee Good, there were a few videos. Renee Good's story, it was still confusing as to, was her car pointing at the agent? Remember, she's the one that was in the car trying to drive away. The agent put himself in front of the car, which was wrong, and started shooting at her as her car started going forward. He's going to claim he thought the car was going to hit him, even though you're not supposed to shoot at a moving car. And I think he was very negligent. There's an argument to be made that her car did move towards him when she was trying to drive away, right? In this case with Alex Pretti, And again, I'm talking as a lawyer now. I'm not talking personally. Personally, he shouldn't have shot her. He's a criminal, the guy who shot Renee Good. criminally negligent at the very least. But her story was more confusing. Her story was more, but it doesn't matter. Her story was more confusing, right? Her car was kind of coming that way. He fired 3 shots. It wasn't multiple agents. Even it was fast. The Alex Pretti stuff, there was way more video. And the video was clearer as to what happened. By the way, Renee Good, we didn't see her. We saw them fire at the car and the car drove away. Alex Pretti, we saw them fire at Alex on the ground. We watched them assassinate him. And then we watched him laying on the ground as they fired 6 more shots into his body. I mean, we all saw that video. So I think that had a profound, greater impact than the Renee Good killing. This one, fascinating what happened. I say fascinating political science, great what happened in terms of the response. Bavino's out. Bavino was the border guy in charge of all Border Patrol. Border Patrol and ICE are like the 2 big agencies doing all of these crimes that Trump's using as a police force, his own personal police force. Bavino's out, basically fired. He's being demoted and transferred to California, where reports are, sources say he's going to retire in shortly. To me, working in politics for 40 years, that sounds like he was told, you're going to be fired or you can resign in 2 months, right? Or you can resign in 2 weeks, whatever. But the old, you can resign or we're going to fire you. So Bavino's out. Kristi Noem, the one with the long hair and the eyelashes who pays millions of dollars for her photo ops, but also allegedly runs the Homeland Security Department. She still has her job. She met with Trump for 2 hours the other night. Still has her job. Democrats are talking about impeaching her. Doesn't really matter. It's nice, but it doesn't matter because they need Republicans. Not clear they're going to get Republicans to impeach her, but they might. Interesting question whether they would. The Democrats would need, I don't know whether it's 6 Republicans or what they would need to impeach her. Interesting question if they could pull that off. So, you never know, right? So actually, I shouldn't totally knock the idea. They might actually pull it off in the House, which would not be bad. She wouldn't be removed from her job, but it would look horrible, right? She's in trouble. She's hanging on to her job. Stephen Miller is not being blamed yet, but he should. Stephen Miller is the deputy chief of staff at the White House. He's the one in charge of this. He's the brainchild behind this entire policy. And then there's Donald Trump. And one of the things that was really frustrating last night in reading all the news reports after the show was the media was going crazy last night on basically taking the White House spin as fact and saying, oh, Donald Trump was very upset when he saw the news this weekend. Was very upset when he saw what Kristi Noem was doing on TV and what Bavino was doing on TV. And you're reading this going, oh, sure he was. Right. Donald Trump doesn't like it when his staff gets on TV and defends him forcefully. And when his staff gets on TV and denigrates Democrats, oh, he hates that. Right. Bullshit. Right. We also know, and I pointed this out yesterday, that Sunday, across Trump's agency, they all came out and defended the killing. They all came out and accused Pretti of, oh, he had a gun, he had a firearm. Like that makes you guilty, right? But they all had the same talking points. And you don't have Department of Homeland Security, FBI, U.S. Attorney's Office, Secretary of Transportation, Secretary of the Treasury, all come out and give the same statement on Sunday unless it was coordinated by the White House, especially Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy. I'm looking at this going, what the hell is the Secretary of Transportation doing on TV talking about Alex Peretti's murder? That doesn't make any sense. That just doesn't make any sense at all, right? It makes no sense. What's that about? That's because the White House coordinated it, right? The White House coordinated it. So for Trump to then say, oh, I hated what they did on TV. His staff literally coordinated what they did on TV. And we already had Renee Good killed 3 weeks ago. Trump, You know what I mean, right? The media literally was quoting the White House. Trump's very upset at what he sees. He doesn't like this. He doesn't like what ICE is doing. If only Donald Trump had the power to control ICE, because he doesn't like what they're doing. But what power does Trump have to tell ICE what to do? Right? I mean, come on. It's just ridiculous on every level. Any case, what is interesting here is, let me read you a couple different quotes. Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina, a Republican retiring at the end of his term. This is a U.S. senator. This is good. A Republican retiring at the end of his term told reporters at the U.S. Capitol that Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, should be fired and that her actions have been amateurish. Quote, what she has done in Minnesota should be disqualifying, Tillis said. That's quite interesting. Again, for a Republican senator, even one who's not running again, but for a Republican senator to say that Kristi Noem should be fired is interesting. They don't tend to, especially the senators tend to kind of just get along with Trump, right? They don't disagree with him. That's quite interesting. Republican representative, House of Representatives, Mark Amodei, Republican of Nevada, who oversees the subcommittee that provides funding for the Department of Homeland Security, told the Nevada Independent, quote, there needs to be a pivot in the whole operation, adding, we are not in a good place right now. Now, you might think that quote isn't that strong. He's criticizing Trump. He's criticizing ICE. He's criticizing the operation. We're dealing with Donald Trump. They don't criticize him. Republicans in Congress don't criticize him. These guys are criticizing him. That's good news. I want to talk a little bit about the, is it your congressman? And a Republican congressman, which I mean is shocking. I want to talk a little bit about the New York Times analysis because it goes to just how bad this is. Because, folks, this isn't over. ICE is still in Minnesota. The murderer is still at large. 2 murderers, by the way, still at large, right? I mean, what are their names? Are they going to be charged? Who's doing the investigation? I mean, Trump's people are doing the investigation. Are you kidding me? Why should we believe that's going to be a fair investigation, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. So there's a lot. I mean, somebody was murdered on national television, so to speak. I mean, we all saw it. This man was executed, publicly executed by federal government officials. You can't just, thank you, Rage. You can't just say, well, they got rid of one guy. And as Trump said, someday they'll be leaving. I love that. Oh, thank you, Rage. You're being very sweet with the gifts there. I appreciate that. Rage is doing several gifts there. Thank you. One of the concessions Trump made was telling the media yesterday, at some point we'll leave Minnesota. Yeah. I think we already knew that. At some point, you were going to leave Minnesota. We knew that. This is not a surprise, right? I mean, like, give me a break. New York Times. So New York Times did a new video analysis. I was talking at the beginning of the show. Thank you, Marie. And I didn't think there would be anything new that would be interesting because at this point, we've all seen the videos. And I thought, another video analysis. What are they going to show us? Actually, very interesting. They went through frame by frame. And they jumped, 7, 8 videos now. They jumped back and forth to the 7 or 8 videos. So they would go, okay, this is where this happened. Here's this video. Here's a picture from this video of the other angle. And you're looking at different angles. It's almost like an MRI or a CAT scan, right? Where you've got different angles of the same second so that you're actually going, this is the New York Times. You're actually going, oh, that's interesting. Like, oh, there's the gun. There's the hand. There's Alex Pretti on the ground, right? Like, very interesting across the board. Let me tell you some of this. One, what the video showed, Alex Pretti never fought back. They said, oh, remember? He was brandishing a weapon and he was fighting with the agents. He was attacking the agents. He not only didn't attack them, he never fought back. Here's what happens. And the video makes very clear now. You see the ICE agent manhandling a woman and throwing her across the sidewalk. Pretti comes up and tries to get between the agent and the woman. And the one thing he does, his hand touches the side of the agent. So Pretti comes up and goes like this to basically go, hey, that's it. He doesn't go like this. He doesn't go like this. He literally touches. Hey, he touched him, but come on, that's not a capital offense. He touches the man's waist and goes like this, like, whoa. That's all he did. The man takes bear spray. Callum was telling me it's bear repellent. Takes bear repellent, shoots it in Alex Pretti's face. Pretti puts a hand up to block his face. And now it's a war on Pretti, on Alex Pretti. Okay. Other agents see this agent now attacking Alex Pretti. Other agents come up. 5, 6 agents grab Pretti, throw him on the ground. Pretti is now on the ground. There's the woman behind Pretti. So Peretti's got his back like this. He's on the ground. He's on his knees. His hands like doggy style, right? Like, so to speak. He's on like a dog. He's on his knees. His hands are in front of him on the ground. His head is down. Okay. Behind him, there's an agent trying to pepper spray the woman using the bear repellent spray on the woman. His can jams. It was very interesting, like all the different angles here. His can jams. He turns around to try to unjam his can, and he's literally standing in front of Pretti. And there's 3 or 4 agents holding Pretti on the ground. And again, Pretti is on his hands and knees, head down to the ground, hands on the ground. And you see, by the way, Peretti's hands, what's in them? Right hand, eyeglasses, left hand, cell phone. Pretti is holding as tight as he can to his glasses and his cell phone so he doesn't lose either one. That's important because what was he doing? He wasn't reaching for his gun. His hands weren't near his gun. His hands were occupied. If he were reaching for the gun at all, he would have let go of the glasses or he would have let go of the phone. But when you're holding 2 things in your hand, you're not going for the gun, right? There's no way, right? But that was an important point because that was another thing they said, well, maybe his hand was near the gun. His hands were in front of his face. He's on his hands and knees. His hands are in front of his face. I say on his hands and knees, but like kneeling, bent over, hands in front of him. So the agent is behind him, harassing the woman, assaulting her, trying to put bear spray in her face. The bear spray jams. The agent turns around. Pretti is now right in front of him. 3 or 4 agents are holding Pretti on the ground. Okay. The agent has the bear spray. All of a sudden he hears, he's got a gun. I should have said first, the agent next to him, because as Peretti's leaning down on all fours, his shirt comes up and you see in one of the angles, you can see the holster holding the gun, and he had a legal gun, the gun on his side. You see this agent on my left reached, I'm the agent who was assaulting the woman who turned around. You see the agent on my left reached down, grab Peretti's gun out of his holster and go to turn away. So now Peretti's in front of me. The agent with the gun is going this way, and I'm the agent who was harassing the woman turned around. He hears gun, immediately takes the gun out of his pocket and opens fire. Boom, 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 boom. 4 times in Peretti's back. This I did not, you don't appreciate all of this. This is new. This was new. We knew what happened, but we didn't know that kind of detail. So he heard gun and I'm talking a split second, pulled his gun out and went boom, 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 boom in the back. Shot him in the back. The gun was gone. The gun was already being walked away, right? And shot him. Peretti's hands were on the ground. Peretti's hands had his glasses and his phone there. There was no danger. He was doing nothing to suggest danger. His hands weren't going for the gun. By the way, the agent couldn't see the gun, for starters. The agent couldn't see his hands. There was no reason to think Pretti had a gun, was going for a gun. Shot him 4 times in the back. In the meantime, right before he shoots him, there's an agent by Peretti's head. He's holding what is now, we believe, probably bear spray as well. They're using bear repellent, right? On the people, using bear repellent on human beings. He's holding the bear spray and he's holding the metal can. It looks like a can of hairspray, but like those metal ones, right? Like the kind of like spray paint cans of metal. And you see him before the shooting, you see him going like this on Peretti's head repeatedly. Bam, 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 right? Well, gun, agent grabs his gun, shoots Pretti 4 times in the back. There's maybe at the same time, the other agents hear the shooting and jump back, right? So they jump back. What happens next? Pretti falls to the ground. It looks like he falls a little bit sideways. His body looks a little, now whether he's sideways away from them or towards them, it's hard to tell. He's sideways. He's on the ground still because he's been shot 4 times in the back. He's still. The shooter agent, Peretti's in front of me. I'm the shooter. Shoots. Pretti falls. Shooter agent moves over here. He's now standing next to the spray paint agent, the agent that had the bear spray who was hitting Pretti in the head with the metal can. Okay? The first shooter shot 4 shots into Pretti's back, is standing next to the guy that had the piece of metal hitting Pretti in the head. There's about a 3/4 of a second delay. Pretti is lying on the ground, motionless, having been shot 4 times in the back. And you see in the video, both of them pick up their guns and just shoot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots. They shot 6 shots. Thank you, Norway. 6 shots into this guy as he lay still on the ground. And you see both of them. This was like out of The Sopranos. I kid you not. Anybody who's watched The Sopranos, when they kill Pussy on the boat, it was literally that scene. You see this guy lying there and these 2 grown men with their guns in hand just going like this. It was sickening. 10 shots fired, 4 shots first in the back, and then these 2 did 6 shots between them, whether it was 3 and 3, hard to say, but 6 shots between them. I mean, unbelievable. When I mean, every time you watch the video, it's horrible, but this new New York Times analysis was worse. It was worse, especially that last part. I mean, forget shooting him in the back, but that last part when he's on the ground, you literally, I mean, they've all moved away. That's the other thing too. First of all, the first shooter, he shot 4 shots into Peretti's back when he was surrounded by other agents. He could have killed anybody. He could have killed any of the other agents. They were in a circle and he's opening fire, right, at the guy in the middle. But the 2 other guys, they had all stepped back 6 feet. So the original shooter and his buddy, they're all like 6 feet back. They could see the scene perfectly. What possesses you to pick up your gun when a man is laying there, having been shot, not moving, and you're 6 feet away so you can see the scene perfectly, picking up your gun and putting 6 more bullets into him? I mean, it's a horrific story. It's important to talk about it. Absolutely, absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. You know, it just really, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. Thank you for that. Who was that? Prexis. Thank you, Prexis. See, that's what I want you to do. You need to let me know. So thank you for that. I mean, to let me know who it was. So I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, this is why I'm saying that Bavino getting transferred is nice. 2 men committed murder. 2 men did a public execution. 2 federal agents did a public execution of an American citizen, an innocent American citizen. Demoting some mean guy who looks like a female prison guard is not sufficient. That is not a sufficient response to a public execution. And they covered it up afterwards. They covered it up. They took the evidence. I mean, now they're doing the investigation. Really? They're doing the investigation? Like, why? Not why should we trust? There's no way we should trust Donald Trump's people doing an investigation of Donald Trump's people, right? I mean, give me a break. And the agent that applauded, thank you, Jay. That's right. I forgot to even mention that. The one agent, because all the other agents come running up because they see the fight and they're like, oh, let's help out, right? And the one agent gets maybe 15 feet away, 5 meters, and hears the gunshots and stops and sees Pretti lying there and goes like, yeah, and turns around and walks away. These Homeland Security people are not normal human beings. They're not normal Americans. I mean, and again, you've now got 3 people, right? You got the guy on the ground. I mean, the 2 guys that shot Pretti. The guy that actually harassed the woman is one of the guys who shot Pretti as well. You got the guy who's clapping excitedly over a public execution, over a public shooting, right? I mean, man, no, it's unbelievable. Democrats. So where does this leave us? Democrats have leverage this week. The funding for Homeland Security, which includes ICE, is going through Congress this week. Now, a lot of money is already in the pipeline. So even if the Democrats stop the money this week, it doesn't stop Homeland Security. They've got a lot of money. They got billions of dollars already to get them through months from now. But there are several other bills tied to it right now. The defense bill, other bills are tied. Democrats are so outraged, they said, we want changes to the Homeland Security bill, or we're not giving you our votes to pass anything. What do they want? Democrats are demanding 5 things. 1, Department of Homeland Security must cooperate with state investigations. Currently, and this is never done, the Homeland Security, Trump's people, are refusing to work with state and local investigators, with state and local police to investigate the killings. That's never happened before. It's happening now because they're covering up. They're trying to hide the crime. It's never happened. They're trying to hide the crime, right? Mods, if we've got some mods over on TikTok, right? Just making sure. The number 2, Border Patrol stays at the border. Okay, good, Blue. Thank you. The Border Patrol should not be running around the country shooting people, right? Their job is to be at the border, check the car to make sure you're not bringing in too much alcohol from Tijuana, Mexico, right? They shouldn't be going into American cities like a private police force. 3, warrants for arrests. Now, this should be an obvious point because under the U.S. Constitution, this is required, but they're not getting them. They're not getting judicial warrants. They're not getting any warrants, or they're getting these administrative warrants that aren't really warrants. They're basically a warrant written by the agency itself. So Homeland Security or ICE, an ICE official signs the document that says, yes, I'm impartial and I approve of you going and arresting this person. Well, you're not impartial if you work at ICE, right? So you'd have to get a judicial warrant. 4, identification and body cams. Agents would have to wear IDs so we could identify who they are when things like this happen. Because let's face it, we don't even know who the murderers are at this point, right? Second of all, body cameras. They've all got to have body cameras, so whatever they do, there's a record. Finally, 5, and this I thought was interesting, ICE has to leave churches and schools because they've been churches and they've been invading schools. Very interesting, actually, that's been taking place. So let's see, but that's what Democrats are demanding. Rand Paul, another senator getting involved. So Republican Senator Rand Paul, chairman of the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, said that the heads of ICE, Customs and Border Patrol, and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services will testify in front of his panel on February 12th, 2 days after a similar oversight hearing in the House. That's good. Rand Paul has not been happy. Some of his people have been online very unhappy, which is good. We learned today ICE is going to Italy for the Olympics. This is crazy. This was a story I saw this weekend. And I saw an Italian say, oh, it's some conspiracy theory. They'd never do that. That Trump would bring he's bringing ICE to the Olympics in Milan. It's confirmed by Associated Press and Agence France Presse. It's confirmed. He's doing it. Now, it's insane. The Italians this weekend were like, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. And I forgot where I was, TikTok, wherever I was, Twitter. And I waited and said, okay, maybe he's not bringing ICE to Italy for the Olympics, but he totally would. Don't say he'd never do that. He would totally do that. His own personal protection force. He's doing it. Trump is bringing ICE to the Olympics in Milan. It's insane. The White House today tried to claim, and the U.S. Embassy in Italy, they're not there for security purposes. They're like, what do you mean? What are they there to see the Olympics? He brought them there to coordinate international narco-terror organization threats to the Olympics. I'm sorry, you brought the guys who are responsible for checking my car trunk when I crossed the border from Tijuana, Mexico, to make sure I didn't bring too much tequila back. You're flying these guys to Milan, Italy as your super secret narco trafficking experts? Really? Really? Border Patrol agents? I mean, we've got to remind people who these guys are. No offense, but these are like the guys at the airport that check your luggage. I mean, that's nice that they do that, but they're not exactly international terror experts, right? That's not their job. He's bringing them to Italy. What is happening is Trump and Vance it looks like, are bringing their own private paramilitary security force with them. They are now using ICE as a secret protection force loyal just to the White House, and they're above the law. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Um, the Italian people are not happy. The Italian government so far has been lying. The Italian Interior Ministry says there's nothing wrong with it. They're not going to do security. Again, I love that they're not going to do security. And he goes, they're not bringing, they're only bringing four or five of them. Oh, so they're only bringing 4 or 5 of the guys who just publicly executed an American citizen 3 days ago, and who 2 days ago threatened to drag 2 Italian journalists out of a car. I showed you the video yesterday. 2 days ago, ICE threatened an Italian journalist and told her, I'm going to smash the car window and drag you out of this car. He told this woman going, I am an Italian journalist. I am an Italian journalist. And he looks at her and goes, yeah, keep filming. I'm going to smash the window and drag you out of the car, he says to her. I showed you guys this film yesterday. Right after doing that, Trump is bringing those people to Italy who just, and by the way, final point here is, I'd be really curious what Alex Pretti's last name is, because I speak Italian. I read the name Pretti and I see Italian. It may not be Italian. That name is, has anybody checked? Is he Italian American? Because that name, maybe it's not, but I'd be shocked if it's not an Italian name, because the name screams Italian. It would just be, he's not Italian? Okay. Because it would be one additional little wrinkle that would be interesting, you know? But regardless, they're bringing these people, right? I mean, the name's certainly Pretti, except Pretti, it looks like it's missing a letter. Like it should be Peretti or whatever, right? No, hopefully the Italians speak up. They got a week left before. Oh, Albania, that's an interesting point too. It sure looks Italian. It looks Italian like it might be missing a letter, you know? It is Pretti, but as I'm saying, but it looks like it's Peretti. It also is possible the name got changed when the family came over, right? In any case, but my point is, that's actually relevant, because if his last name is Italian, that's one more hook for the Italian media, that this guy was Italian American, if he was. For Italy, that makes it even worse what they did to him. And guys, again, it was 3 days ago that they killed this guy. It was 2 or 3 days ago that Wiki shows he's of Northern Italian ancestry. There you go. Okay, so you guys did confirm this. He's Italian American. Wow. They killed an Italian American, and Trump is bringing the people agency who killed this Italian American, who threatened an Italian reporter to smash her window and drag her out of a car. And Trump is bringing them to the Italian Olympics. By the way, once they get to the Italian Olympics, what do you think they're going to do if there's protesters? What do you think they're going to do if there's Italians protesting Trump? Are they going to be traveling to other European countries? I mean, once they're inside, they can go wherever they want. These guys can go anywhere in Schengen they want. To any of your countries, these guys can visit. I cannot believe in a million years that the European Union is okay with letting ICE agents come there to start with, let alone you're going to allow ICE agents to go to the European Union on official ICE business? Seriously? I mean, seriously? My God. Let's see. So far, the Italian government's letting it happen. Italians are not happy. They shouldn't be happy, obviously. I think in the end, Trump is going to be forced not to bring these guys. Why would he bring them? Why would he bring them anyway? Right? And by the way, if Trump is bringing ICE, because I mentioned this in a video on TikTok I did today, if Trump is bringing ICE to the Olympics, which he is now, in Italy, do you think Trump isn't going to bring ICE to the World Cup in Los Angeles, in America? Why would Trump think he needs ICE to go with him to Italy, but he doesn't need ICE to go with him to Los Angeles? Right? I'm sorry, but I think you're naive if you think that they're not going to be looking for people at the World Cup. Who shows up at the World Cup? The biggest fans in this country are going to be Latinos and Europeans, probably in this country. Well, do you think the ICE people might like to get some Latinos? Right? Obviously. How do they feel about Europeans in the Trump administration? We know how they feel about Europeans. Some other news. Former FIFA. This was wild. The former FIFA president. So FIFA, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but FIFA, I believe, is the International Soccer Association, Internet Football, as they call it everywhere but America. Probably Federazione Internazionale di Football, or what would it be? Or Football Associazione, or what is it? I don't even know what language it's in, but it's probably the International Federation of Football or whatever. And so it's the international soccer. It's like the NBA or the NFL of soccer internationally, right? The governing body. Thank you, BSP. The governing body. By the way, keep the gifts coming. Hey, I hate to always ask you, oh, it's French. Okay, Fédération Internationale du Football, blah, blah, blah. What's the A? What does it stand for? Anybody know offhand? FIFA? Football. I don't know. What's the A stand for, though? I'll bet you it's Fédération Internationale du Football. But association doesn't work, though. It doesn't work. Any case, we'll come back to that. I'll Google it later. It should be pretty. No. Well, what's the actual? Yeah, but what's the whole Fédération Internationale du Football Association? That's weird. Oh, c'est bizarre, huh? Football Association. That doesn't make sense in French. You know that. Whatever. That's fine. Anyway, thank you for the gift there, Dawn. So the former head of FIFA, okay? That is what it is, okay? Of association football. Okay, I don't even know in English, because the English, the word doesn't work, association football. Interesting. Okay, that's what it is. All right, fine, gone through, you were right. Thanks, guys. So the FIFA president, he was president, I think, until 2015, relatively recent. He tweets today, and he's, again, FIFA, which runs international soccer. FIFA president tweets today a quote by somebody else. Now, you guys tell me, Mark Pleth, or Mark, is it Pleth or Pieth? It is Mark Pieth. Who is Mark Pieth, or Piet? Pieth. He's somebody important enough that the former head of international soccer tweeted his words. Mark Piet. Now, what's important is that the guy himself tweeted this, but I'm kind of curious who Mark Piet is as well. The former head is named, I didn't write it down. It's Blatter, I believe, Blatter. So listen to this. The quote from the other guy that the former head of FIFA, so the FIFA head is sharing this quote. And the quote is, for the fans, there's only one piece of advice: stay away from the USA. Okay? The former head of FIFA writes, I think Mark Piet is right to question this World Cup. The former head of FIFA is suggesting that maybe you shouldn't attend the World Cup in America. Right? Oh, that's why. Thanks, Matt. Okay. Right? That's pretty wild. I think if this keeps up, the World Cup, and I think Trump is dying for the World Cup to be here this summer. Trump loves this stuff. Blatter said what I just said. The other guy said this Mark. Okay. You're not being helpful, people. Who is Mark Piet? I asked you guys, Pieth. Come on. I pay you good money. No, I don't. Thank you, Devin. Mark Piet. Oops. Hello. Mark Piet. Is he no, criminal law? Okay. He's a professor of criminal law. He's a professor of criminal law at Basel. Okay. Swiss attorney. He's a Swiss attorney who chaired the Independent Governance Committee's oversight of FIFA reform. So he's somebody who's overseen FIFA reform in the past. He says, for the fans, there's only one piece of advice: stay away from the USA. The former president of FIFA, Blatter, says, I think Mark Piet is right to question this World Cup. That's, again, and Trump, Trump is desperate to have the World Cup. The Germans did this in 1936 with the Olympics. 36? 33. When the hell was that? I keep forgetting. It was 36, I think, the Olympics. Very important to give you credibility for all of this, right? Very important to have the games. 36, thank you, Steph. Very important. So for Trump to lose this would be a huge deal. And I think hugely important for efforts to take on Trump. Trump today. Oh, yeah. So the Trump administration, listen to this. The judge yesterday, I think, the Minnesota people got interesting. I'm going to Google and see if that's the case. Thank you, Northeast. Hold on a second. Let me Google this and just see really quick. It might be some interesting breaking news, but I don't want to repeat it unless I can confirm it. Let's see here. One sec. One moment. Sorry, my iPad's slow. Let's see. I can't confirm that. I'm not going to repeat that. Sorry, Andy, but I'm not seeing anything quoting it yet. You might be right, but I'm not going to repeat it unless I can confirm it. Judge, yesterday, the day before, at the request of Minnesota officials, orders the Trump administration not to destroy evidence in the Alex Pretti murder. Okay? Trump administration is ordered by a judge, do not destroy any evidence, preserve all your evidence in the Alex Pretti murder. The Trump administration is going to court to overturn the judge's rule. Trump is going to court to overturn an order to preserve the evidence regarding Alex Pretti's murder. Trump wants to have the leeway to destroy the evidence of Alex Pretti's murder. It's crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Why would they care? Well, why would they care? Why would you go to court and say, I want the power to destroy the evidence, unless you wanted to destroy the evidence? There's no other reason you would do it. These are the people who are these are the people investigating the crime. Okay. These are the people investigating the shooting. They want the power to destroy the evidence that they're investigating. I mean, it's insane. I mean, we know this, but it's crazy stuff, right? Trump today, God bless Trump. Trump today came out against the Second Amendment again. I want to show you this. This might be difficult to hear. I'm going to show this for you. You may or may not be able to hear this. If not, I'm going to tell you what he said. This is Trump today. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to tell you what he said. I'm going to tell you what he just said there. It's been widely reported. He says, it's very tragic what happened. But with that being said, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. You just can't. You can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's just a very unfortunate incident. Well, the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution says you can. Donald Trump just repeated what all of the top members of his administration have been saying incorrectly for 3 days now. They've been saying incorrectly for 3 days now that you do not have the right to conceal carry in America. Yes, you do. Conceal carry means carrying it hidden on your person. Yes, you do. You have to get a permit and this kind of stuff. But you do. All the top leaders of Trump's administration, the FBI director said this repeatedly, Kash Patel. Department of Homeland Security head said this repeatedly. Okay? U.S. attorneys have said this repeatedly. And Trump now today, this afternoon, said the same thing. Trump said, you cannot show up at a protest with concealed carry. You cannot, and he said it repeatedly. Yes, you can in America under U.S. law. But what's particularly interesting about that is this goes to the core of the when we say the Second Amendment, it's the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution that protects the right to bear arms. It's a little more complicated than that, but basically it is what is used to make America's laws so lenient on firearms, okay? Because it's interpreted as being pretty ironclad that people have the right to have these things. Republicans tend to be the most adamant about these rights. Some Democrats are too, but Republicans tend to be the most adamant. And for Trump to say you don't have the right to carry when you absolutely have the right, and it is considered a sacrosanct right by his own voters, that is very, very, very interesting. Very interesting for Trump to be saying that, because it's only going to freak out his voters more, and it should. Ruth Ben-Ghiat, who was on our show before, I've got to get Ruth back with all of this. Although Ruth and I are going to have a very sad talk if she comes, but I've got to get Ruth back if she's willing to come on. Ruth Ben-Ghiat, who is an amazing American totalitarianism expert, an expert on dictatorships and authoritarianism, totalitarianism. Ruth tweeted today and said that one of the first things Mussolini did, Italian dictator, right? 1920s, and then going into World War II, he was the ally of the Germans in World War II. One of the first things Mussolini did to consolidate power in 1925 was confiscate weapons from anyone not in law enforcement, the military, or his militia. They use weapons to take power, and then they immediately take the weapons away, because if you are armed, you're dangerous to a dictatorship, you're dangerous to fascism, you're dangerous to authoritarianism, you're dangerous to totalitarianism, right? It is very hard to have a dictatorship with an armed public. Now, that used to be a conservative point of view. I think a lot of us on the left or the middle are now, I think, we don't talk about it much, especially on Twitter or TikTok. We don't talk a lot because, TikTok is sensitive about these topics. So we try not to have discussions on this topic too much. This is a big national story. Obviously, we talk about it. But I suspect a lot of people on the left and the middle are coming around to understand the nuance of the importance of the Second Amendment for preserving freedom and liberty. I suspect that is starting to resonate with more people than just conservatives at this point, I think. Certainly it is with me and a lot of people who I know. So what else we got? Oh my God, this story too. There's a lot of news today, but these are really good stories. Latinos for Trump co-chair. There's an article today that this woman who was the co-chair of Latinos for Trump, Republican woman, Cuban-American from Florida, and very supportive of Trump on immigration, is irate. She's livid at what Trump is doing in Minnesota. She said that the murder of Alex Pretti is, I believe she called it abhorrent. Abhorrent. That's pretty good. She said she thinks Trump is going to cost Republicans the election by what he's doing. And she told a story. Now, again, interesting because she's Cuban American from Florida. They tend to be very conservative and Republican. Interesting that what resonated with her personally, what she found abhorrent and the last straw, was the murder of a white guy, a non-Latino, an Italian American. That's interesting to me. That's good because she's not. You're starting to impact Trump's core voters who are looking beyond their own community. It's not like he was a Latino who was killed, right? And she had a personal connection. She saw a connection, somebody who wasn't a Trump voter and somebody who wasn't her ethnic group. That's good, right? It gets even better, the story. She told the story of how she is terrified that ICE is going to come after her son and basically kill him. Her children are, Americans, but they're Latinos. They're Cuban Americans from Florida. Cuban Americans in Florida a lot of them speak Spanish. My introduction to them was like 35, 38 years, whenever it was, 8 years, 37 years ago, I was flying to Argentina to work. I was doing in graduate school at Georgetown, I was doing a summer internship at the US Embassy in Buenos Aires. Great job. And flying via Miami. And I think it was this. I might have actually, it might have even been going to see my relatives in Panama. Either way, I was either 19 or 23, and I'm flying through Miami. And I remember some old grandma coming up to me, needed directions or help with something, walked up to me, and immediately just went into Spanish, asked me my advice. I said, "Oh, sí, señora, creo que está, like the whole conversation was in Spanish. She didn't come up to me. This is Miami. She did not come up to me and say, "Excuse me, do you speak Spanish?" She came up to me and just opened up in Spanish. Like that was my introduction to Miami. Like I had dark hair and she just figured everybody speaks Spanish in Miami. That's Florida. Florida is very Latino. Florida is very Cuban. This woman tells the story, and mind you, she's the Latino co-chair of Latinos for Trump. I forgot to mention, she's also a Republican state senator. Okay. She's a Florida state senator, meaning the state, not the US, not in Washington, but in Tallahassee, the capital of Florida. Okay. She's a state senator in Florida. She's in the airport in Tallahassee, in the state capital. She tells this story and she says, "I'm speaking Spanish to somebody," whether she was on the phone or in person. She goes, "I'm speaking Spanish." And a TSA agent, transportation security agent, part of the larger Homeland Security, comes up to her and interrupts her. Thank you, Gene, for the gift. Interrupts her and says, "Excuse me, are you a citizen?" And asks her to prove that she's a US citizen. She's in an American airport, flying domestically, just sitting there talking on her phone. Thank you for the gift, by the way. I did see that. Sorry, in the middle of my story. Thank you, Gene. Talking on her phone or whatever. And a TSA agent, Homeland Security, hears her speaking Spanish and has the nerve to walk up and say, "Excuse me, but are you American? Can you prove to me that you're American?" In an airport. And she was born in Miami. I mean, first of all, she's not even an immigrant. She's native born American. She's a member of the Florida legislature. She's a Florida Republican official. And this guy comes up to her and makes her prove that she's an American because she's speaking Spanish. Unbelievable. I mean, but at the same time, how perfectly fabulous that they picked a Cuban American, the Latino co-chair of Latinos for Trump, and a woman who is a Republican elected representative in the Florida legislature. And they went up and had the nerve to say, "Excuse me, lady, you're speaking Spanish. Prove that you're American." No, this is absolutely horrific. I mean, it just boggles my mind. Yeah, Wilson, I Googled and couldn't confirm it, so I don't want to get into it yet. Depends who you're seeing the video from. If you're seeing it from a major news source, I'll believe it, but I would want to confirm it first. Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome story. So she's a new ally, which is great. And you know what? Good. And she said, "They did this to me, and my first thought went to my son. And what would they do to my son?" Because she can say, "I'm an elected representative. What's your name?" Right? What's her son going to do? Explain, "No, I'm really American. Really. I know I've got an accent." Right? Because a lot of these guys have accents too, because they're brought up in a Spanish speaking community. They're Americans. They're born in America, but a lot of them have accents. Because a lot of ethnic communities, I've met Greeks before, Greek Americans. Kind of blew my mind though. We met a Greek American years ago who had a Greek accent in his English. And I asked him, we met him in Greece, traveling in Delphi. And I remember I said, so where do you live in the States? He said, "Oh, I'm in Ohio." I said, "Oh, but when did you move there?" He goes, "Well, I was born there." I said, "Wait, you were born?" No, he goes, "I was born in New Jersey. I moved to Ohio like 10 years ago." I said, "Wait, what do you mean you were born in New Jersey? How long did you live in the States?" He goes, "My entire life." I'm like, "You've got a Greek accent in your English." His family was just very Greek. In America, it's not totally unusual to have an accent. Even people who are born here can have foreign accents. It happens. And among Latinos, it can happen even more. But again, it even happened among Greeks, which I've never seen it with a Greek before. That blew my mind. He literally had a Greek accent in his English. Born and raised here. Amazing. Anyway, let me give you some other stories really quick. Fox News is reporting Trump is going to deport nearly 40 Iranians from the U.S. to Iran. According to the American Immigration Council, which represents some of the Iranians, this is the third ICE deportation flight to Iran since September. Basically, human rights groups say this could be a death sentence. Basically, all these people are expected to be put to death when they hit Iran. What's his face? Parker. Bah! I'm forgetting his name. Stewart. What the hell's his name? I'm calling him Parker Stewart. What the hell's his name? Or I'm spacing out. You know, the guy we like. Stewart, what's his name? The military guy. I'm pulling a Trump here. Totally spacing out at his name. He wrote about it and said, he's at Preston Stewart. Thank you, Dawn. Preston said, these guys, with what's going on in Iran right now, with the dissidents saying at least 6,000 people have been killed by Iranian troops, with the fact that they're expecting a possible imminent American attack, and we're sending Iranians who fled to America back to Iran, they are going to be executed by the regime as soon as they get off the plane. We are sending Iranian dissidents back to be killed. Donald Trump is. I mean, it's absolutely. And at the same time, Trump is going to war with Iran to stop them from killing dissidents. Maybe that's not why Trump's going to war with Iran at all. Big surprise there, that there's an ulterior motive we don't know about, right? Reuters. Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the UK is flying to China on January 26th. This is according to Reuters, on the first visit by a British leader in 8 years in a bid to mend ties with the world's second largest economy and reduce its dependence on an increasingly unpredictable US. The Brits are now increasing their ties to China for the first time in 8 years in response to Donald Trump's attacks on them because they no longer trust America. We have pushed our top ally into the arms of the communist Chinese. Congratulations. The Brits are reporting, you know how Melania's got her new show, her new documentary, Melania. And it's Melania, 20 days before they moved into the White House, the 20 days of preparation, Melania's life. Well, they're opening in like 27 countries around the world. And the Brits are reporting that they've sold one ticket in all of Great Britain for Melania's movie. One ticket in the entire country. Exactly. People just said, I don't care. Do you? Exactly. I don't care. Do you? The Ukraine, I'm going to mention the Ukraine news really quick because it's important. Financial Times is reporting, they're talking about this peace deal, and we're talking about, maybe the Ukrainians have reached a deal with Trump that America will provide some kind of security guarantee. Trump is reportedly at the last hour pressuring Ukraine to give up land in the east, to give up the east part of Ukraine called Donbass, to just give it up entirely to the Russians, or the U.S. isn't going to give security protections to Ukraine. Let me make one thing clear. The U.S. isn't going to give security protections to Ukraine under Donald Trump. There is no Europe, you're on your own. Ukraine, you're on your own. You know this. This is not a surprise to any of you. None of you are getting, America is very likely not coming to your aid. There's very little chance of America coming to your aid if you get attacked while Donald Trump is president. At the very least, you cannot count on it. Okay? There's always a chance somebody could bribe Donald Trump. I don't know, right? To get him to come to your aid. But is there just as much of a chance that Trump won't come to your aid, especially if it's Putin that attacks you? Yes. So the notion that Ukraine should give up land in order to get Donald Trump's empty promise to protect them, a similar thing happened this weekend with Mark Rutte. Mark Rutte is the NATO Secretary General. And Rutte gave this weird lecture to the Europeans. And he basically told them, he was lecturing the European governments and said, Europe cannot defend itself against a Russian attack without America's help. And a bunch of the observers said, first of all, sounds like somebody's gone native, like somebody's in Donald Trump's pocket. But more importantly, some of the other observers said, yeah, even if that were true, questionable, even if that were true, Donald Trump's not coming to your aid anyway. So what's the point? Like, oh, well, you can't defend yourselves against Russia, so you better give Greenland to Donald Trump, who isn't going to come to your aid anyway. By the way, if the Russians invade Europe, you know the first thing that's going to happen, Greenland is coming up. I guarantee you, as an observer of U.S. politics for 40 years in Washington, D.C., if the Russians invade Europe, anywhere in Europe, and you call for help, the first word out of the White House is going to be, we want Greenland. It's going to be transactional. So, I mean, for Rutte to say that, but I think it's a very important point for all of you guys. We've talked about this before. Anybody who's new to the show might not have heard it. Europe is in a very, not just Europe, any of America's friends, allies, or anybody around the world, you're in a very difficult position because we're already gone. America is no longer your friend. America is no longer your ally. You can no longer count on us for any economic deals, for trade deals. You can no longer count on us for any treaties. You can no longer count on us for coming to your defense in NATO or anywhere else. Maybe he will. Trump's already showed us he's already violated multiple treaties. He's repeatedly threatened not to come to Europe's help for NATO, right? Repeatedly. You're already on your own. So that when it comes to negotiating with Trump, you should not be giving him more in the hopes that he doesn't walk. He's already walked. And any deal you reach with him, he's just as likely to violate the deal and break it. So, I mean, it's which is what in Canada, going to the Chinese, Trump's now talking about putting 100% taxes on Americans. He's going to tax us 100% of what we buy from Canada to punish the Canadians for turning and doing a trade deal with China instead, because Trump crapped on Trump just 3 days ago. He again talked about annexing Canada, about invading Canada and taking Alberta. Trump had his top officials talk about taking Alberta away from Canada 3 days ago. And he's pissed that the Canadians said, okay, if you're talking about invading us, we'll go do deals with other people. I mean, this is bad stuff. This is very bad stuff. And then he talks to Carney on the phone and claims, this was great today. Trump claimed today, I talked to Carney, the Canadian Prime Minister, and he backed off. He backed down. A lot of the stuff he said at Davos about me, he backed down and was like begging me to be his friend again. Carney went public today and said, yeah, that's not true. He goes, I stand by everything I said last week. So Trump tried to basically lie about the phone call with Carney too. I mean, because, right, what's more likely? That Carney went on bended knees to Donald Trump, or that Donald Trump lied about the phone call to make himself look good? What's more likely, right? Man. And that's the other thing, nuclear weapons. I mean, Matt was just mentioning nuclear powers, Britain and France and nuclear powers. Europe's going to have to increase its defenses. Unfortunately, you're going to have to spend a lot of money on this. More of you are going to have to become nuclear powers, which is, I say unfortunate because, I don't want more nuclear weapons out there. You don't have a choice. I just noticed you can see the snow. Isn't it pretty? The snow is very pretty. You can see my snow out the window. I forgot. You're getting for you guys on YouTube, etc. there, for you guys on TikTok. It is very pretty with all my little garden lights. What was I saying? Sorry. Oh, the nuclear weapons. What do the Europeans think out there? What do you think about this? Or even the Asians? I think Europe does not have a choice but to develop its nuclear weapons. I think France and Britain probably need more. And I think additional countries are going to have to develop nuclear weapons, especially because now the big concern is the Chinese. The Chinese are building massive quantities of nukes, massive, and the Russians and the Chinese together are going to basically outnumber all of us with their nukes. Thank you, Big Pink, for the gift. But I'm curious, like, what do some of you think from who are not in Britain and France? Like, are any of the Nordic countries considering going nuclear? And I say nuclear meaning weapons. Germany. I don't know if anybody else. Poland. I mean, I don't know who else out there could, right? And I don't know how easy it is to do it. Thank you for the gift. Who is that? Carol. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Bowie. You know, I'm not saying I want Germany with nukes. I'm saying, as an observer of international politics, if I were in Europe right now, I would want as many nuclear weapons as I could get. I would want France and Britain to have a lot more if I were a European. And if I were a European country, I would absolutely positively get, especially if I were closer to Eastern Europe, I would get some nuclear weapons. Yes. As an observer of international politics and an international politics expert, yes. Yes. But I don't know. Not sure. I'm not talking nuclear power. I'm talking nuclear weapons. I'm not asking about nuclear power. I'm talking nuclear weapons. But as I said, I don't know for European countries how that hits. I don't know whether, Norwegians, Swedes, Finns, Danes, does that sound crazy to you, getting nuclear weapons? Or is it the kind of thing that does get discussed in your countries, for example, or Poland or Eastern Europe? Does that get discussed? Even Germany, does it get discussed, or is it considered crazy? Italy, or is it considered crazy? Yeah, Bjorn, what are they? I mean, which are you? That flag, I forget. Is that Swedish, Bjorn? I always forget. I know I can never remember which flag is which for you guys. But like, is it discussed? Germany's a no. German says Germany's a no. Bjorn, which country is that, Bjorn? And I mean, and you could also have the Brits and the French build up more. Sweden, okay. Canada, I mean, honestly, Canada should as well. Yeah, Bjorn could be Sweden, but is Bjorn only Swedes? It's funny, the Bjorns I know are Swedish, and I think Bjorn means bear or something, but isn't it also other Scandinavian languages, or does it tend to be Swedish? I didn't know that. Gunther's saying it. Gunther's pretty smart. Norway Fox is saying Norway too, Gunther. All right. No, I don't think Europe has a choice. You cannot rely on America. You can't. Exactly. Bjorn means bear. I learned that when there was the famous bear that was in trouble, maybe in Germany. Did the Scandinavians rescue it or something? Something happened with a bear. And I learned that bears are considered like a big deal in Scandinavia, and that the name Bjorn means bear. And I learned it was something maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it was something like that. I do, in fact, WC. WC goes, I just figured out John has a wardrobe for his podcast. I do, in fact. I do. I don't wear this jacket every day. I wear it for the show, but I don't wear it every day. Also, jackets like this can only be worn in some weather. I mean, you've got to get the perfect in-between weather. You know what I mean? But anyway, yes, back to the topic at hand. You can't trust the U.S. anymore, guys. Unfortunately. Here's the problem, too. Yeah, when Trump is gone and a sane Democrat is elected, either a sane Republican, thank you, Tammy, if they ever come back, right? A normal national security Republican, or a Democrat comes back, then you would be able to trust America again to come to your defense until a Republican Congress doesn't like it or a Republican president wins. So all of a sudden, you go to war with the Russians, and a year later, Donald Trump Jr. becomes president, or J.D. Vance. Bye-bye, right? Or you're not at war with Russia, and you trust America again, and you don't invest in your defense, and then J.D. Vance wins in 4, 6, 8 years. J.D. Vance becomes president, and the Russians invade, and J.D. Vance goes, bye-bye. I mean, that's the problem with all of this. Is You can never trust us. You can never trust us. The lights are just reflected lights from my inside of my apartment. Everyone always thinks they look like sunsets. They're just, I have some lights behind my TV and stuff and on my wall. And I didn't plan it this way, but for the show, they reflect really nicely in the background. The problem is we're heading, once March comes, we'll be back to regular time again. And then I've got to shut the curtains because it's bright out, but it's nice. I like it at night when I can do the show and it's dark out because it makes the lighting really nice. Anyway. All right, guys, we're at 20 after. We can go another minute or two, but then we'll call it quits. Anything else to talk about? I mean, we had a lot obviously today to talk about. Oh, I was going to mention the TikTok stuff. I'm not convinced that there was a conspiracy to censor stuff on TikTok in the last 2 days. I'm not convinced because TikTok was melting down across the board for everybody. That doesn't mean there isn't censorship, but it was melting down for everybody. And I think they had massive disaster when they transferred American TikTok to new servers in America. It exploded. So I know for a fact everybody's TikTok was screwed up. So I don't know that I believe that they were censoring this weekend. I'm not convinced of that yet. Blumsen. Hey, Blumsen from Denmark. So I did not watch Dylan's video. I keep forgetting, Bryce. Oh, excuse me. Oh. But yeah, everything was kind of a mess. My posts were going to nobody. It was crazy, Like Bavino had resigned and nobody could see my post, which is really annoying. Do I know the new owners? I don't know them personally, but they're Trump supporters. Hey, CFR. Thank you. Hawk lost his account. Did he really? What? Lost it as in they canceled him or his account disappeared for a while? I know my page was weird. My page at one point, somebody showed me other people's videos popped up on my page. They weren't my videos anymore. Like, no, everything went crazy. His account is back. Okay, then his account. So his account was part of it, though. No, his account may have been the same. Somebody said he's back, though. So it could have been banned or it could have been it got screwed up. Yeah, mine was whacked too, but it came back. So, again, worry about it for another day. Oh, sorry. I got to go plan a little bit of food now. Anyway. All right, guys, any last minute things or what? Yeah, no, that's true, actually. True Robotai said, Europe, don't feel so bad. We're on our own, too. Now, that's true. My government isn't here for me either, right? Our government's literally trying to kill us. So, there's that. But so we feel your pain quite literally, Europeans and other American allies around the world. Sweden developed them? What do you mean? Nukes? Sweden had nukes? No way. Did they really? Really? I'm not aware of this. Doesn't mean they didn't, but excuse me. But I'm not aware of that. And I'll get some food in a second. No? Okay. we all feel like Iranian dissidents getting sent back to Iran now, right? Oh, ICE is going to Italy in a week. The Olympics start. Well, it depends when Trump is going. Maybe 2 weeks. It depends when he's going. A week or two. Yeah, Sasha, she's looking very cute right now. Let me try to show you guys. I don't know whether there's enough light. There may or may not be enough light to show you. I'm showing them Sasha because she's very cute in her little bed under the, could you see her? I'll do a picture for you guys. She's looking particularly cute. Oh, you can see she's looking particularly cute in her little bed. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. There we go. It's a little dark, but no, you can see it's not too dark, but she's kind of conked out in her little bed. It's looking very cute. So yeah, there you can see the brighter shot, my little girl. Looking adorable. You wouldn't guess that she's a total pain in the ass. I love her, but God, she's a pain in the ass. She's 16. I mean, she's always been a pain in the ass, but as she's gotten older, she's gotten like pushier. Oh, thank you, Wandering. That was sweet of you. Thank you so much. Wandering Chill just gave me a very nice gift. Thank you for that. Thank you. You're amazing. Thank you. You're amazing too. She is a diva. Yes, she's a diva. Love her, but she's a freaking diva. Yes. Anyway, it is funny. I mean, she's always been a pain in the ass, but she's gotten to be pain in the assier. We went to visit a neighbor today because I was trying to I just been trying to get, because with the weather too, it's terrible. Just, I feel bad because she gets bored, but she also, and again, her legs are okay on the medicine, but they're not perfect. So she's still limping a little bit, but doing pretty good. So I'm trying to take her for walks, but not long walks. Cause I don't know. It's like, I'll have to ask the vet. We're going for a blood test next week. So I'll ask the vet at that point, but at least her walking is better. It's not perfect, but it's better on the medicine at least. So that's good, Oh, you lost your dog yesterday? Lynn. I'm sorry. Thank you, Dawn, for that. 15 years old. Ugh. Yeah, she's on the gabapentin. She's doing half a gabapentin twice a day. I'm assuming it's 100 milligram. Thank you, Gaz, for the gift. I'm assuming it's 100 milligrams. So she's getting 50 milligrams in the morning, 50 at night. She did say I could do it 3 times a day. 2 times a day works well. I like the timing, right? 3 times a day is a bit of a pain in the ass. But I mean, I would do it. Obviously, that's not the point. But I'm also seeing there are those horrible capsules. Yeah, it's terrible because I have to split them apart. I'm literally like some, trafficker or something, breaking them apart and cutting them. And it's like with the powder, it's ridiculous. My neighbors, if they can see, must think I've got a factory in here or something. But what do you do? But no, she started limping over Christmas, and the vet thinks she has arthritis. And the vet said, she said, I did find some pain in her spine because she was feeling the spine. I didn't notice it. Thank you, Bryce. I didn't notice the vet doing it, but she goes, when I got to a certain point of her spine, she winced. She goes, so she was feeling pain. What actually I found was better than peanut butter, anybody who's doing this for their pet, gabapentin comes in little caplets or capsules so that you have to pull it apart and there's dust inside. It's horrible because you got to split it in half. I was using peanut butter. Peanut butter was a total pain in the, oh, she loves salmon. Are you kidding? Peanut butter was a total pain in the ass because you're trying to wipe it around and it's stuck in your finger and the spoon. Yogurt. The plain yogurt worked so much easier. It's easier to mix in with the spoon. It's easier to get off the spoon. It's easier to get off your finger. I was going to try pill pockets. The problem is it's powder. And from what I was reading, nobody was recommending pill pockets for powder. The yogurt works perfectly. And yogurt's good for her anyway. But the yogurt worked. I just decided, well, I was like, I knew yogurt was okay. You know what I mean? And I thought, let me try yogurt. It works so much better. Because imagine you dollop a little bit of yogurt on a plate. It's easy to mix around and getting it off your finger. Peanut butter. Anyway, just to keep in mind, I am using plain Greek yogurt. Yeah. But keep in mind, you don't want to use yogurt with an artificial sweetener. Dangerous. You don't want to use yogurt with sugar in it. That could be too much. Plain yogurt's what you want. What's this live? Well, now we're pretty much done with the live tonight. So the live is talking about my dog, as we do at the end of the show often. Applesauce. Yeah, applesauce would work just as well. Same kind of thing. Exactly. No xylitol. Exactly. Yeah, applesauce would work just as well. Scrambled eggs. Yeah, but they're more of a pain in the ass. I like the fact that I like yogurt. I've always got yogurt. And it's just super easy to use. Rice would work. That's true. Rice would, bread, yeah. But I'm sorry. But rice would work. Yeah, baby food if you got a baby. The thing is, yogurt too. Yogurt also lasts forever. You know what I mean? Yogurt, it goes bad eventually, but yogurt takes a long time to go bad. So it's nice because it's not like I worry some of the other stuff you open up. Thank you, Julie. I worry about some of the other stuff opening it up and having it go bad. Whereas yogurt, it's going to take. Anyway, just so people know, if you ever got a powdered medicine to give your dog, yogurt works amazing. It's super easy to mix in and it's easy to get off your finger or the spoon, whereas peanut butter was living hell to get off. Well, I guess my finger, I could have given my finger to her, or the spoon, I guess I could too. She's a Yorkie Bichon. I always show people, this is the, oops, now it's not, this is funny. Now it's not showing the picture on my screen. I hate when it does that. Sometimes it just doesn't show the picture on my screen of her. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's very annoying. Where's my, I'm trying to find like a good, one of the, God, one of the best pictures of Sasha. The one on my screen really is the best one. There's a number of good ones, but, where is this? I mean, of course I've got 10,000 photos, you know. Actually, this was funny. Actually, this one was funny when this was when she decided to sit in one of my pots on my balcony. And she just was like, I'm looking out my window and she's there sitting in my pot. And I'm like, what are you doing? It was the funniest damn thing. And if the pot finally broke in the winter, I was so upset. But she liked the dirt. Is that hilarious? She was totally. I mean, I'm crying because I'm laughing so hard. It was the funniest damn thing. She just was like, oh, and then wait, another time. That was one time. Hold on. The other time, it was the picture right next to it. The other time, she's literally sleeping in it. And then she saw me and she's like, oh, what are you doing? She curled up into a ball on top of the dirt in the pot. I mean, she is an insane dog. She's absolutely a crazy dog. Just sitting in the sunlight in the pot. It's like, that's why I love her. She's a pain in the ass, but she's a crazy dog. She's just, I mean, but I love it. Like literally, I'm like, you crawled into one of my pots. Like, what the hell was that even about? Well grounded, exactly. Well, and I'm guessing it. I'm like crying. I'm laughing so hard. I'm guessing it's, you know, the dirt is warm. The dirt is warm. It probably feels like it feels more like a yard for her to be sitting in. She's super high maintenance, though. That's the thing. Yeah. Super high maintenance. I mean, but I was so bummed when that pot broke. I was like, oh my God, it was her little pot bed. Yes, there was some kind of a shooting in Arizona this morning with ICE. We don't know what happened. It wasn't clear. I didn't report on it because we just don't know. I did see the report before the show, but it looked like it happened this morning and there was no details on what it was. So we don't know, was somebody crossing the border? Were they traffickers? I mean, that's the only reason I didn't bring it up, because unlike them, I like to be fair. So anyway, thank you, Jep in Sweden. All right, guys, I'm going to go. So thank you for joining me. I do this show Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern time, US. So I should get her another pot with dirt. I should. That would be funny just to get like a bit. Yeah, actually, I shot it. She might like that. But I do the show every Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern. And we talk about the latest news, what's going on in the world. I'm in Washington, D.C. Typically, it's a lot of Trump news and Ukraine because we care about that. I'm in Washington, D.C. And we care about Ukraine too. So we do that too. But if you like the show, join us. Make sure to follow me. I always forget to tell folks to follow me on TikTok, YouTube too. So make sure you guys follow me, please. I'll give you a quick second for that. And otherwise, thank you, Linda. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. So thank you for the gifts. It was a busy news day. It's a very busy news day. I don't know what that is, Philantine. So no, probably not. I'm not going to join another app right now. I mean, I do need to build up my other apps because you never know. But you know. Good. People are following me on TikTok. Excellent. All right, guys. Still got a good number of you over at YouTube too. That's good. Excellent. They are. ICE are going over to the Winter Olympics in Italy. Exactly. We need our Italian friends to speak up. Hopefully they are. So we'll see. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off and make myself a bagel or something because I'm starving. So have a good bagel. And I've got a little bit of prosciutto left too. So, all right. See you. Thank you, Lynn. All right. Have a good night, guys. Talk to you. Yeah, we did well. We've been getting ICE has been very good for my TikTok viewership. We've been getting about 2,000 a day or 2,000 at one time. Bagels. I'm a big fan of bagel with butter and cream cheese. Of course, lox is great if you've got it. I love cream cheese that has the little bits of lox or whatever in it, but there's nowhere nearby for me to get that. New York, my local deli had it. I used to get them there. Oh, and I'd get the cream cheese that was, it was pink, it was fake, but it would have the salmon flavor in it. Oh, but there's nothing better. I may do it again tonight. There's nothing better than a toasted bagel with a lot of butter and then the cream cheese, and the butter's kind of melted and gooey and the cream cheese starts to melt. And I think I'm going to do that. The dog wants more water. All right, I'm coming. I think I'm going to do that. Now that I'm talking about it, I think I'm going to do that for dinner. Not much of a dinner, but what the hell. All right. Have a good night, guys. Talk to you all later. All right. YouTube or Discord. Sorry. Discord. See you guys. I'm coming, dog. YouTube. Thank you. And TikTok.